guys, thanks for tuning in to another video. Today we will be talking about if the Bank of Canada overnight rate, interest rate decision, interest rate announcement actually affects your decision to purchase, sell, or your mortgage. So obviously there's been a ton of talk in the industry and just in the general media and news about what Bank of Canada is going to do with interest rates. Are they going to cut? Are they going to hold for longer? When are they going to cut? How much are they going to cut? And with the next announcement looming on June 5th, a lot of people are deciding to hold off their purchasing plans, or maybe they're hold off their selling plans because they think Bank of Canada is going to cut rates. So we're going to be talking a little bit about how this actually affects you and if it affects you at all. And should you put your plans on hold to wait for Bank of Canada's rate announcement decision? Just to recap, variable rate mortgages are tied to the Bank of Canada overnight rate. So I'm going to be doing a comparison. Take this with a grain of salt because these are posted rates on RBC's website. I'm going to be using RBC because they're the biggest bank in Canada, but I'm aware that there's many different lenders that offer many different rates and many different terms and many different lending platforms. So for comparison's sake, 5-year variable closed versus 5-year fixed at RBC. So like I said, variable rate mortgages are tied to Bank of Canada's overnight rate. So normally you see a lender offer prime plus a certain percentage. So RBC's posted 5-year closed variable rate is 6.92%, which is quite high, obviously, almost at 7%. On the flip side, if we look at fixed rates are tied to the bond market, which a lot of people may not know that fixed rates aren't necessarily tied to Bank of Canada's overnight lending rate. So if we see a drop or increase in the BOC interest rate, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to impact fixed mortgage rates. Obviously, it wouldn't impact your fixed mortgage rate if you have a fixed mortgage because it's fixed. But when you're applying for a new mortgage or a renewal, that's when rates change when you're worried about your fixed mortgage. So RBC's 5-year posted rate for a fixed mortgage is 5.17%. So you see quite a big delta there between the variable and fixed rates. So we've gone over variable rate mortgages versus fixed rate mortgages. So what does this all mean and why does it matter? Well, the reality is most people are taking fixed rate mortgages. I can tell you myself, clients of mine being boots on the ground, working with people every day, I can't recall in, let's say, the last 2 years, one person who has taken a variable rate mortgage, because the reality is the fixed rate is a better deal right now. The reason somebody would take a variable is because they think Bank of Canada is going to decrease rates so rapidly that over the time of their term that they'll pay less interest than they would if they would take a fixed. But historically, variable rates have actually been cheaper and a lower interest rate because they're a more risky option because there's fluctuations in the interest rate, whereas fixed, you're locked in. So this is kind of a unique time where you're seeing the variable rate being substantially higher than the fixed rate. So if fixed rate mortgages aren't necessarily tied to the Bank of Canada overnight rate, why is everybody so worried about what Bank of Canada is going to do with interest rates? Well, some people have variable rate mortgages. Some people are up for renewal and want rates to go down. But the main reason, in my opinion, is sentiment. If Bank of Canada starts decreasing rates, they've signaled that the hiking cycle is over and they are going to start cutting, which will bring sentiment back to the market. It will bring confidence back to the market. It will bring buyers back to the market because they feel more confident in the market that prices are stable and potentially going to increase. As I've said many times before, markets trade on sentiment, whether it's real estate, stocks, bonds, cryptocurrency, gold, what have you. Market fundamentals usually prevail in the end, but in the short term, they do trade on sentiment. And with the signal to decrease rates, market sentiment and buyer confidence will get a lot better. So people want to move with the herd. That's just the reality of human nature. So if you feel that there's some confidence in the market and now other people think it's a good time to buy, it's going to make you a lot more confident in your decision to buy. Regardless, at the end of the day, if you're purchasing, you should buy something for the long term that you can afford and you're not stretching yourself on. And if you're selling, you should sell at the right time for you. And if you're buying and selling in the same market, it's a wash, because if the market's ripping and really crazy, you're going to get more for your house, but you're also going to pay more for your house. If the market's really down in the dumps, you're going to get less for your house, but you're also going to get a better deal on a house. So all of this is relative, and the discussion around rates, although it's a big headline, it doesn't really affect as many people as you think, because the reality is most people are getting fixed rate mortgages. And although Bank of Canada's overnight rate impacts fixed rate mortgages, it's not directly tied to it like it is for a variable rate mortgage. So hopefully you found this video informative, found some value in it. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear your feedback, and stay tuned next week for a new video.